and welcome to Not Now in Theaters. Whether it's an underrated B-movie, a cult classic, or an underseen foreign film, this podcast is a highlight reel of movies past you might want to know more about and why. My name is Will Turntail, and I'm a writer and film fan from California. For this episode, we're talking 1973's Westworld, Michael Crichton's science fiction classic. Featuring deadly AI robots and some nifty filmmaking techniques, the movie has quietly influenced some of your favorite science fiction films since, especially ones with killer robots. A quick statement before we begin. Making films is hard, and you have to respect that. This is a fan's blog, so any criticisms are meant to be constructive. Alright, with that taken care of, let's go to the show. Westworld 1973 review, the other Michael Crichton Theme Park Goes Bananas movie. Before an Austrian-accented robot assassin stalked its target in the Terminator, life found a way to go berserk in Jurassic Park, or Itchy and Scratchy Land turned into a robot apocalypse in The Simpsons, we had Westworld 1973. Thanks to its kick-ass movie poster, I've long been intrigued to give this classic a watch. And the popularity of the HBO series of the same name, a remake, helped it dot my radar. A film that serves as a stern warning about the dangers of artificial intelligence, Westworld was written and, curiously, also directed by best-selling author Michael Crichton. And if you don't know who that is, he's the guy who wrote Jurassic Park, The Andromeda Strain, and Congo, among other works. According to Crichton's website, despite being a novelist, he felt Westworld worked best as a film. To paraphrase the author, the movie is about ordinary people traveling to a theme park full of androids to live out their fantasies. So Crichton felt using the visual medium of film was vital. Audiences would immediately recognize familiar situations like Wild West gunfights or sword duels in medieval castles. Then Westworld's trick would be to pull the rug out. By playing directly against audience expectations, these archetypical heroic moments wouldn't exactly go to plan for the park guests. But while Crichton had a vision, there were some hurdles to clear. First, this would be the author's theatrical film directorial debut, having only handled a TV movie before. And to make matters worse, MGM would only allow the inexperienced Crichton to direct the picture if he could meet some strict criteria. He'd have a budget of just $1.3 million, which isn't much even in 70s dollars. And after paying the cast, crew, and other expenses, there was only $75,000 or so to spend on the sets. As Crichton describes it on his website, art director Herman Blumenthal, quote, had to build 20 sets covering nearly 200,000 square feet. Crichton also points out that sets aren't easy to make on the cheap. They needed floors sturdy enough not to wobble or bounce a moving camera. And for this film, many interiors had to be aged to be period appropriate. Adding to the problems, MGM allotted just 30 days to shoot the movie, forcing Crichton into minimal takes. And he had no control over casting, with the leads signed only 48 hours before shooting began. Despite these production hardships, Crichton, cast, and crew came through. Westworld was a hit, becoming MGM's biggest box office success of the year. It also received critical praise and nominations for Saturn, Nebula, and Hugo Awards. And the film has a legacy that continues today. More on this later. But we're over 50 years into the future now. Today, is Westworld a good movie? The plot of Westworld. In the near future, the Delos company has built the perfect escape for adults, a theme park that simulates past worlds. With the use of androids like non-player characters in a video game, Delos has meticulously recreated the environments of Rome, medieval Europe, or the wild American West, all with costumes and real weapons provided. Park visitors have a license to thrill themselves. They can manipulate the world to their desires. And manipulate they do. Whether they shoot down gunfighters in a duel or attempt to seduce medieval queens, they know Delos has ensured every detail of their safety. Among the vacationers, two buddies are off on a Wild West adventure. The first friend is the comfortable and confident Westworld veteran John Blaine, played by James Brolin, whose likeness between him and son Josh Brolin is uncanny. The second man is the cautious Westworld newbie, Peter Martin, played by Richard Benjamin, whose bush-thick mustache is worth the price of admission. But while John, Peter, and the other guests enjoy their days and nights, behind the scenes, the Delos company notices abnormal behavior in the androids, such as one called the Gunslinger, played by Yul Brynner. It's probably just a minor bug in the programming that will work itself out, right? Right? Fun fact, Alan Oppenheimer plays the chief supervisor of the park. For those who don't know, that's the voice actor for none other than Skeletor of the He-Man cartoon. The idea of Skeletor overseeing a theme park tickles me. You can check the transcript to read the rest of the main cast. Okay, so now that you understand Westworld's plot, I'm going to get into what I liked and thought could be improved. I'll hand out some points for what's good and deduct for what could be better, and we'll add them up at the end. Good thing number 1, the gunslinger that influenced the Terminator, plus 6 points. Casting Yul Brynner in this movie was a masterstroke, but it feels like a no-brainer. With his well-known role as Chris in The Magnificent Seven, Brynner immediately looks familiar to the audience as a Western gunfighter. He even wears the same costume in both movies. But Brynner completely nails this role, and his quietly chilling performance is the number 1 reason to watch. Brynner plays his part with a subtle jerkiness and understated stiffness in his overall movement, which is perfect for an android. He goes soft robot, which makes the audience believe he's full robot. Late in the film, when a chase scene begins, his unwavering, menacing stare and rigid, poised posture bristles with intent and quiet malice. The contacts that he wears add to the effect, and I find him believable and terrifying as he squares off against John and Peter. For real. Brynner's acting and the gunslinger character influenced other sci-fi movies we know and love today. For example, if you read the article linked in the transcript from theterminatorfans.com, Arnold Schwarzenegger admits he modeled some of his performance as the Terminator after Brynner's gunslinger. And Crichton has described the gunslinger as, quote, the predecessor of Darth Vader in Star Wars. And the author goes on to call him the predecessor of all the boss villains, the unbeatable super opponents that came after 1973. And having watched this film, I don't think Crichton is just blowing hot air into his ego balloon. I have to agree with him here. For a snapshot of Brynner's performance, check out the YouTube link from Rotten Tomatoes movie clips at this point in the transcript. Good thing number 2, first use of CGI, plus 2 points. A bit of trivia. According to Wikipedia, Westworld has the first computer-generated image in the live-action portion of a film, which until now I thought was James Cameron's The Abyss, all the way forward in 1989. During the final sequence, the CGI clicks in for a POV switch to the gunslinger's perspective, allowing us to see the world through his eyes as he stalks his victims. It's an effective way of heightening the tension and letting the audience get to know the villain just that little bit better. It also predates similar sci-fi ideas, such as the Predator's infrared vision, RoboCop's view/OCP directives, or the Terminator's HUD, HUD. I actually wonder how the heck the gunslinger can see anything in the pixelated mess that is supposed to be his vision, but it's the point of the effect I'm crediting here more than nitpicking its quality. To see the effect in action, you can check out the YouTube link by Michael Crichton Official in this portion of the transcript. Good thing number 3, peeking behind the curtain, plus 4 points. The movie succeeds at world building. It takes the audience backstage, bringing us into the work of the Delos employees. We watch as they diligently repair any robot that's been shot to death, stabbed, or just malfunctioning. Despite being a lower-budget 1973 movie, the practical effects are sound enough to make it believable and have the aesthetic charm of the era. These Delos inner workings sequences also foreshadow the havoc that is about to begin. The employees notice strange anomalies and have internal discussions about the computer virus circulating in the park's androids. But I had to wonder, with sex with robots featured in the movie, what exactly were the staff doing to, sanitize them between uses? If you thought janitorial work cleaning up all the vomit on tilty whirly rides might be the worst job in a theme park, I guess scrubbing out the crevices of used sex spots might just be worse. To see a scene of the Delos team in action, check out the YouTube link in this portion of the transcript over to Rotten Tomatoes movie clips. Okay, so now let's get into the not as good things. Not as good thing number 1, another 15 minutes of themes? Minus 3 points. Westworld falls short, literally. Its runtime is just 1 hour and 28 minutes. Crichton seemingly wanted the movie to be more of a thriller, not necessarily a heady sci-fi exploration of human nature, and to that end, this structure does the job. But the film shows us that in the freedom of a fantasy world, humans are drawn to their base instincts. Ordinary people go on adventures to escape our societal reality and realize sex, violence, and power trips. Still, the film just puts these themes in plain sight without dedicating time to actually exploring them. I would have enjoyed, say, a character self-realizing their dark instincts and getting haunted by their unhinged lust or bloodlust. You could see the world Delos created acting more as a mirror than an escape, creating a compelling psychological struggle. But the movie doesn't do that, and it's really too bad. Not as good thing number 2. A bit dull, -4 points. When the chaos in the movie breaks out, the film blasts the excitement button and raises the tension. Before that, it didn't entertain me in bunches along the way. John and Peter have some Wild West hijinks, but they're like stock Western actions, so it doesn't matter too much. And we check in on the fantasies playing out in the park's medieval and Roman worlds, similar to John and Peter's experiences. But these two are more to set up the conclusion than do anything memorable. I guess dominoes need setting up before we crash them over, and just as in real life, the filmic ones can be less exciting than the knocking down times. Still, this is where my point about the themes could have been coming into play and giving us something to chew on while we wait for the drama of the third act. Alright, so adding it all up, Westworld's total arbitrary points score is 5 points. On my scale of let's not watch this movie, should I watch this movie, or go watch this movie, I'm going to give Westworld my should I watch rating. If you have not seen Westworld and are a sci-fi fan, please check it out. The film is like a genre museum piece, putting out bricks of ideas franchises built on for decades to come. Yul Brynner's performance as the gunslinger was a platform for villains like the Terminator, and the special effects quietly paved the way for other sci-fi hits. Still, the film is shorter, a little boring at times, and thematically thinner than I would have liked, holding it back from absolute classic status. So it's a must for sci-fi fans to know their history, but casual audiences may or may not enjoy themselves here. Thank you so much for listening to my thoughts on Westworld, directed by Michael Crichton. You can watch the trailer with a YouTube link in the transcript in this section of the transcript on Max. If you like this episode, please leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Reviews really go a long way for channels like ours. If you've got a comment or a question, you can find me at willturntail.com or search for Not Now in Theaters on our Blue Sky, Instagram, or Facebook pages. This podcast episode is a production copyright of Overegged Media, LLC, located in Sacramento, California. Reference photos linked in the transcript are copyrighted by the Internet Movie Database. This review's factual information was gathered through online sources like Wikipedia, IMDb, or interviews. Misrepresentations and errors are possible, but unintentional. Introduction music, Neon Laser Horizon by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license. Exit music, Canon in D for 8-bit synths by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license. Additional music, Galactic Rap by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license. Goodbye for now.